this is Steffi and welcome back to the Financial Fox. Today we are talking about crypto and DeFi, and I will be joined by a panel of three guests. So first of all, Oscar and Barney Chambers, co-founders and developers of Umbria Network, the next generation DeFi protocol just launched at the end of January on Uniswap. Umbria just announced a partnership with Polygon, previously Matic Network, to deploy its suite of applications on the platform. So Polygon, we know, just former Matic Network, is one of the most active layer 2 Ethereum scaling solution in existence today. And joining us from Polygon, with my pleasure, I'm going to announce Arjun, Kalsy, Vice President of Growth. So we are going to be talking about the partnership, and we are going to also discuss DeFi, which is one, evolving and quite interesting space to be and operate. So let me welcome our guests. Hi guys, how are you?
Great, thank you.
So, Oscar and Barney, where are you at the moment?
So we've just arrived in Spain from Australia. We just took a flight over here. So it's lovely to be in a warm, sunny climate again with all the beautiful Spanish sun.
Yeah, okay, sounds amazing. And Arjun, where are you calling from?
Oh, hey guys. So I'm calling from Bangalore, India. So it's warm and sunny here a lot. So so I'm kind of used to it now. But yeah, it's great to be here. Yes.
So this is where are you based? But obviously, Polygon has got different kind of operation all over the world, isn't it?
Definitely. So ever since we did our rebranding from Matic Network to Polygon, so we've got offices in Belgrade and in Singapore, in British Virgin Islands, and a few other places as well. So geographically now we're sort of all over the place.
Expanding mood. So let's kick off and start a bit about this partnership that has been just announced between Umbria and Polygon. I want to understand what basically Polygon is going to bring to the table to help grow, and what is going to be next.
Sure, definitely. So what I'll do is I'll just take just a couple of minutes to talk about Polygon, and then we can sort of go from there. So prior to rebranding ourselves as Polygon, we were Matic Network, and essentially Matic Network was founded in 2017 to solve for some of the scalability issues which Ethereum was facing at the time. And at the time, Vitalik had come up with this approach of using plasma architecture to solve for scaling. And one of one of the founding members and chief architects was a part of like a plasma research group, and sort of we created our hybrid plasma POS chain, which has proved to be very successful, and that's kind of how Matic Network was formed. But fast forward 3 years later, you also see that there are a bunch of other scaling techniques now as well. So you have plasma, which and we have a hybrid plasma POS chain, which is production ready, which is proven technology. But there's also like optimistic rollups, ZK rollups, and possibly other scaling techniques which are going to come out in the future. And what we kind of realized, when we sort of so our mainnet went live about 7 months ago, and after the mainnet went live, the question on our minds was that what is the future going to look like? Like we have all of these different scaling techniques. What will the future of scaling look like? And when we had these discussions, we kind of realized that the future will not be just one sort of supreme scaling solution, or one sort of technology which will solve all problems. All technologies have trade-offs, like some advantages, some disadvantages. So what we realized is that the future essentially will be a multi-chain kind of environment, right? Where essentially there will be multiple scaling techniques built around Ethereum, right? Which will allow the developer the highest form of flexibility with respect to trying to choose which sort of solution works best for their kind of the app. So whether they want to use optimistic rollups, ZK rollups, they want to use our sort of plasma POS chain, and this essentially is what the rebranding is all about. So with Polygon, what we've done is that we've doubled down on our current technology, which is our hybrid plasma POS chain, which is very successful, production ready. All the dApps are deployed on that. But we are also expanding our efforts. And while we are building tooling and improvements on our core technology, we are also researching optimistic rollups, ZK rollups, the ability to sort of spawn your own chain, and all of these things you will see in the coming months, like as we come up with these new kind of scaling sort of techniques. So essentially, this will allow a developer in the future to really mix and match what kind of techniques, what kind of scaling solution they want to use, and essentially be able to grow, their Ethereum dApp. So this is kind of what is a quick brief about Polygon. And of course, you can't have this kind of conversation without, talking about some form of DeFi, right? So decentralized finance is booming. There's so many other interesting kind of use cases. And that's when I got a chance to talk to the Umbria team as well, about some of the things they were doing. And it was very interesting. So that's kind of where the partnership came from. And of course, on our network, we have lots of interesting DeFi applications like Oro Pocket, EasyFi, QuickSwap, like one of the most popular dexes, in sort of the Ethereum Ethverse, as one might say. So our TVL on our network has crossed $200 million. So we're very focused on DeFi. We want to sort of encourage DeFi dApp developers, to come and experiment with our platform, see how easy it is to use Polygon, how fast it is. Like the block time on our network is 2 seconds, so transactions are like immediate. At the same time, the average cost of a transaction is something like $0.00004. It's like almost free, to an order of like 110,000 to 100,000 cheaper than sort of the Ethereum mainnet. And when you have this kind of environment of fast transactions and cheap transactions, then all sorts of business models are possible, like NFT plus DeFi, right? You can bring in these DeFi elements into other existing business models and then grow your business. So this is kind of how we are looking at this. And I feel that, apps like Umbria are going to be a big part of, this DeFi future, which we're trying to build with Polygon.
Oscar, do you want to maybe to jump in and just comment on that and what you see in Matic as, as basically the best partner to start a journey together?
Sure. Well, everyone's been talking about how Ethereum has scaling issues for years and years and years. And DeFi has kind of brought that to a point where you're basically discouraged from doing swaps on any DEX on Ethereum because it can cost you like $80, $100 just to do a swap. So you've got a huge barrier to entry for anyone who wants to try this stuff out without risking a whole bunch of money because they don't know how this stuff works. So the beginner entry point is a great barrier to entry. So the Matic technology is going to basically strip that barrier to entry away. It's going to make the mainstream adoption of DeFi a lot easier. And that's kind of like one of the main focuses of Umbria. It's to kind of take away that barrier to entry, make DeFi more of like a mainstream thing that can be opened up to the world. So Umbria is going to be using the Matic technology to basically make it easier for people to get involved in DeFi, but also to make it a lot cheaper, a lot faster. So there are just a lot of advantages to Matic as opposed to like the Ethereum technology, which is kind of old technology at this point. Now we have new solutions that are layers on top. So Matic is an example of that.
And also the level of compatibility between Ethereum and Matic is amazing. So in terms of development, anyone who is used to building decentralized applications on Ethereum is going to feel very comfortable using Matic or Polygon, as it's called now, just because of everything that is done on Ethereum from a development standpoint can easily be transferred over to the Polygon infrastructure as well. So not only is it going to be really good for the end user, but it's also great for developers who want to get involved in using Polygon.
Okay, I think that is a very interesting point because I think out there will be probably quite a few projects that are trying to fix the Ethereum issue. But why you are saying that basically Polygon, and maybe Arjun, you can also step in here, say that it's basically the preferred way to, is very compatible. I want to understand more.
And I think that, and I feel that is such an important sort of part, right, of this entire equation is that, you have to make things easy for developers. Right, you have to create the kind of infrastructure and the kind of environment where people, with their existing skill set, can directly jump in and build something great. So when we designed Polygon, we designed it with this sort of, you could say, a developer first kind of mindset, right, where we made sure that we use the same execution environment as that of Ethereum. So anything which works on Ethereum essentially works on Polygon out of the box. At the same time, we use the same ERC style assets, right? So ERC20, ERC1155, ERC721. All your existing sort of development environment IDs are compatible, whether it's Remix, Hardhat. All the oracles which are present on Ethereum mainnet are sort of compatible on the Polygon network as well, be it Chainlink, API tree, DR data, Band, Razor, Provable, all of those. And we also have support for like meta transactions using either Biconomy or OpenGSN. So everything, all the tooling, the environment, the kind of execution environment, like all of that is the same as that of Ethereum. And objective was to, so like when I was talking about Polygon, like, our objective is to extend the Ethereum ecosystem. So we want to take the same sort of proven environment and those proven assets and sort of, scale those out. And I think that has proved really successful for us, compared to maybe some of the other EVM compatible chains, which are also sort of using, an EVM compatible environment, but have their own token standards and things like that. And I think, while, that can always, add like that extra layer of complexity, which a developer needs to deal with, and then sort of it sort of increases the time to market as well. Right. So it takes more effort to launch dApps. And we feel that, by solving for that, we've really helped, sort of really supercharge the adoption. Like today, on Polygon, we have about 100 plus dApps already launched, and we are doing close to 100,000 transactions a day, and that's only going to keep increasing as time progresses. So this formula has really worked for us. This developer first mindset.
And from a developer perspective, I mean, Ethereum and riding on top of Ethereum is a very new technology. It's a very steep learning curve. So having something like Polygon where you can immediately transition from the old technology into the new technology, it's going to be huge for developers who want to be on the front foot and right at the bleeding edge of the technology.
Okay, and talking about the partnership a little bit more details, can you tell me maybe how that would work? In kind of what I mean is kind of the support and how is going to be you working together with Matic.
Sure. So so in terms of how we want to engage with Umbria and other developers like Umbria as well, is that we will offer full tech support. So we will work proactively with the Umbria team. We'll help them with deployments. If there are any questions, any sort of blockers come up while deployment, any sort of issues happen, we will work proactively with the Umbria team to help them sort of deploy their DeFi products onto Polygon network. We will also offer marketing support. So whatever announcements Umbria wants to make, whatever they have in mind with respect to all the different products they have planned for 2021, like we will help them with those announcements. We will sort of share that across our entire community of almost 75,000 people on Twitter, almost 40,000 people on Telegram, our Discord community, our Reddit community, and suppose anything interesting is planned like AMAs, airdrops, we will help them with that as well. So this is kind of how we wanted to sort of support Umbria and their mission to sort of simplify DeFi and sort of help with sort of mass adoption. And of course, like this is just the beginning. I think there's so many interesting things we can work on together. So I'm looking forward to that.
Exactly. I think that's a point. There are so many applications, so many aspects where you can actually apply DeFi. I was just thinking about gaming is also becoming a really massively really interesting place.
Yes.
Where things are just changing and they are getting so
definitely.
So yeah. Go on.
No, I was just going to say that gaming, for me personally, this is such an interesting space, right? Because gaming, from what I've seen, also tends to be sort of, gaming is age agnostic, it is region agnostic, it is sex agnostic, it is social strata agnostic. Everybody plays games. So it is one of those few things which truly, brings the community together. And now we can see DeFi elements coming into gaming, right? Where, people can, sort of play with NFTs within the game, sell those NFTs, take those NFTs, sort of bring in other DeFi sort of farming elements into the game itself, and sort of, so I think, yeah, it's amazing. The amount of innovation you see on the gaming side is something truly mind-boggling sometimes, but yeah, very, very interesting and evolving space. Yeah.
Oscar, what do you think about all this DeFi in gaming? I think, it's just, I really want to hear your thought because you are quite young and I know you have been involved in gaming as well. So.
Yeah, well, I've certainly done a lot of gaming. I mean, DeFi, not only with gaming, but DeFi is just is a platform for so many different kinds of technologies. And gaming is just one of those. It seems like a leap from written mail to email as far as financial anything is concerned. So yeah, gaming is going to be one of those things. We have things like flash loans, we have swaps, we have liquidity providing and all kinds of things. So gaming is going to be one of those things. But I just think another takeaway from this new kind of step in the evolution of cryptocurrency and the evolution of finance is just how many ways it can branch off into different sectors. There are just so many possibilities there.
I think that's particularly true because these scaling solutions are going to allow people to transact in these DeFi platforms in a decentralized way at 100 times less cost. So all the things that were just not feasible on the mainnet of Ethereum initially will become feasible now because things are so much cheaper. So you couldn't really see a for example, multiplayer RPG game running on Ethereum these days, because the cost of doing any of the transactions on blockchain would be too much. But if we're talking a transaction costing less than a cent, these sorts of opportunities come available as well. So I don't think we can even see the future yet, just because there's so many opportunities that are going to come from these low transaction fees.
Exactly.
No, definitely. And decentral games is a good example of that, which is like a metaverse environment where like hundreds of people can come together and play games and interact with each other. So yeah, definitely. I think solving for scaling, makes so many new things possible. And I think we're just scratching the surface with what's possible.
And
I think certainly NFTs as well are going to be something interesting to bring into the gaming scene. We have projects like Rarible that are just exploding right now, which are NFT projects. And if Rarible went from Ethereum to a platform like Polygon, you could see quite easily how they could integrate their NFT side of things into a game.
Oh, definitely. And also the NFT plus DeFi element there as well, right? So if you have a valuable NFT, for example, now you should then be allowed to, let's say, take a loan against it or to lend it or borrow it and things like that. So so many new things are possible. And yes, when with NFTs as well, what the biggest advantage of sort of working with a platform, let's say like Polygon, is that because transactions are so inexpensive, like you can sell $1 NFTs. Right, which is something you can simply never do on Ethereum because the gas fees will be $10. So that's like $1 NFT transaction. Exactly. And the cost of minting a transaction will probably be like $50, $60. So you're already $100 down before you sold anyway. So, but on Polygon, right, you can sell 50-cent NFTs. And so that greatly, so if you think about in terms of just volume, it greatly expands the scope of what you can do with NFT. Like we typically read about very, very expensive NFTs being sold, something sold for $100,000 and be like, wow, how amazing is that? But the majority of the NFTs are going to be within that 50-cent to $100 category. And that is kind of where layer 2 just wins out, and it will and that is the volume where the volume trade will come from. So I definitely see a lot of like synergies there.
I definitely think you could apply that to mobile gaming, which is basically fueled by microtransactions, right? So that would lend itself very well to that.
And we've had some success and some precedent there as well. So we had worked with a very interesting application called Swurge, which is sort of doing sort of microtransactions, and on that success, like there's so many other dApps, who want to do like low value, fast transactions, which you simply can't do on Ethereum. But now you can do that at scale on a system like Polygon. So definitely, like I think, like we just feel like you were right when you said, we're just scratching the surface. There's just so much is going to happen, stuff we've never seen or even considered. So I think very exciting stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
So maybe let's Oscar and Barney, do you maybe want to tell us a little bit more about the roadmap of Umbria and say what we should expect, what your plan, then maybe together with Arjun can maybe explore some kind of areas or something that you would like to build up from this partnership?
Sure. So right now we have a ERC20 token on Uniswap, and people can come and get some of the governance token for Umbria. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having an airdrop coming soon on the 1st of March.
We'll be taking a snapshot on the 1st of March.
That's right.
And then on the 1st of April, it will be available for the people who are holding Umbria on the 1st of March and Umbria ETH LP, which is the Uniswap token.
And as we said before, with Umbria, the idea behind our decentralized platform is to make it very simple for the users to transact and also very cheap for the users to transact, because these are the two main barriers to entry for decentralized finance. So we're going to be releasing all of the decentralized aspects of the system, liquidity providing, staking, and all those sorts of things on the Polygon chain, so that we can keep our fees really low and also make it very simple for people who are new to the DeFi space to get involved and understand how it all works.
So we've been experimenting with Uniswap and SushiSwap and kind of taking the best bits of those technologies and deploying them on the Polygon testnet. And we've had quite a lot of success doing that. So it's looking like there's going to be a bright future for an Umbria DEX on Matic, and that will be coming quite soon.
Okay, and Arjun, anything else that you would like to work with Umbria? Anything you would like to build from this partnership? Areas that you definitely like to explore, you know what I mean, like.
No, definitely. So I think there are a lot of innovative things. We've had a chance to speak to the Umbria team about that as well. But I think like the way they've gone about it is in a very sort of step-by-step and structured manner, which is the right approach. That you start with a token, then you build a DEX, and you just sort of start building your ecosystem and your community that way. But I would definitely like to, in the next few months, see things like some staking, some farming. There are so many other innovative concepts out there where you can, like, let's say, stake an ERC20 token and, sort of get a NFT as a reward versus, another ERC20 token. So I think there's so many other innovative things which people, I think, haven't tried out yet, because staking an ERC20 token and getting an NFT in return is something I can't imagine doing that on L1.
Yeah.
Right, because you would have to, first of all, execute the staking contract, which will cost, like, I don't know, $100 maybe, and then you have to mint the NFT, and then you have to send it to someone. So I don't know how that would even be feasible, but on Polygon you can do that. So I would love to see, like, once the DEX is deployed and those kind of when sort of they've moved from the testnet to the mainnet, I would love to see that in the next coming quarters. Some sort of liquidity mining, some sort of farming, and then these kind of interesting new concepts. And I'm sure, like, they have that in their roadmap.
Yeah, and something that we've considered as well is using NFTs themselves as governance tokens.
Definitely.
So a lot of people,
brilliant idea.
Yeah, a lot of people don't use NFTs in that way, and it seems to be quite an intuitive way of doing governance, having non-fungible tokens instead of just having an amount of tokens that's used for voting power.
Maybe explain that a bit more. Explain that a bit more. I think it's quite interesting.
Sure. Okay. So on Ethereum, you have a few different token standards. One of the most popular ones is ERC20, and another one that's very popular is ERC721. And the two main differences between these is that one of them, the ERC20, is what's known as a fungible asset, and an ERC721 is a non-fungible asset. And basically what that means is the difference between fungible and non-fungible is that a non-fungible token is a unique token that represents one thing, whereas a fungible token can be grouped together. Something like USD or yen or GBP can all be considered fungible. So if you were to use non-fungible tokens as a governance token, that might be a good way of separating voting power out, because you can have one token which represents one power in the system, for example.
Yeah, one NFT to rule them all.
Right.
Oh, definitely. And there are people who are thinking about these concepts as well. So, like, I was talking to the folks at NFDAO. So they're setting up a NFT based DAO, and one of the ways of sort of proving membership to that DAO is through an NFT.
Right.
So if you have that NFT, you're a member, and then if you want to get out, then you can send that NFT to somebody else, and they become a member, and then you can sort of be out of the move out of the DAO. And I think that was such an amazing concept. Like, when I first read about it, I was like, wow. Like, and so I think even with, even with NFTs, right, there's just so much out there which is unexplored, and we're going to see in the next couple of months, people use NFTs in all sorts of interesting ways, and a lot of, like, I think there's a lot of challenges there also which need to be solved. Like, for example, you need to create the kind of wallets where, just like today, you can just click and see your ERC20 assets. You should be able to see your NFT assets. You should be able to see their value, the current value, and those kinds. So a lot of, like, tooling and problems need to be solved around NFTs as well, which is being solved by several other organizations and the app developers. But yeah, I think with NFTs, a lot of scope. I'm very excited about that space.
Yeah, and NFTs are very intuitive. I mean, we've been using NFTs in a way for hundreds of years. Like when you buy a ticket to the movie and you sit at seat 7D, that's your NFT. So I think NFTs are very intuitive for people, and it's easy to understand. It's something that we're very familiar with.
Oh, definitely. And in fact, even the simplest form of NFT is basically a banknote. Right? So every banknote has a serial number on it.
Right.
Which makes a banknote one of a kind. So every banknote is actually an NFT. Right. And it's it's very interesting. Like, when you start putting mental models around it, and there's so much you can do with that concept.
Yeah, like applying tokenization basically so many things that can be even tokenizing yourself at a point.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I think there are apps. So I was talking to the folks at Elithia AI, who are going to do something like that. Like, they will take, like, your face and then they'll tokenize that. And they I think they're planning to call it the initial face offering. Right. It's so out there, right? I was like, wow, what is going on? Like, but it's such an amazing concept. So I think, yeah, so a lot of, like, when I think about it, of all the different teams I talk to on a daily basis, I think that there's some crazy stuff happening out there, and those announcements will be coming out soon as well. So I think we're living in fun times.
Yeah, well, I think pretty crazy, but at the same time, I think obviously education is a big
yes.
point, and also is a big point that Umbria is taking as a mission to make things very easy to kind of be out there and explain and kind of try to get this new DeFi concept, but also, you know, new technology application in a more in a way that is kind of easy for everybody to adopt and to understand. Oscar and Barney, do you maybe want to explain a bit of your approach? Because I know that is a priority for Umbria, as is also for Matic as well.
Yes, yes.
Go ahead. Do you mind? Okay. So there's two problems as far as the barrier to entry for DeFi right now. The first one is the fees are really high. So if you're coming in and it's your first time and you have your however much money it is, $1,000 that you want to spend, and it turns out that the transaction fee for your first swap is going to be $80, that's going to scare you away. So that's the first thing. Too expensive. The second thing is that it's really complicated. It's difficult to understand. It's not very well documented. So if we can kind of solve these two problems by making it a lot cheaper and a lot easier to understand, that's going to open up the market to a huge audience, and it's going to make the whole thing a lot more accessible, particularly to the newcomers. So those are the two major problems that we're trying to tackle with the Umbria ecosystem.
So one of the main things that we think is quite low-hanging fruit is just adding a lot of information through a step-by-step process when you are swapping or providing liquidity on the front-end GUI of the website that you'll be able to talk to the decentralized application. Because a lot of these applications, although they have really great technology and they're doing awesome work, they're very difficult to understand for someone who doesn't know about DeFi, especially someone who doesn't know about cryptocurrency. So I think a lot of the innovation will just be about educating the end clients and helping them understand and going through the step-by-step process how exactly to use all of this stuff.
No, definitely, and this is a big part of our mission as well, you know, to be able to educate sort of users and sort of try to build the kind of infrastructure which would like enable the next million you know, blockchain users to come onto the platform. So I think, you know, when we talk generally about blockchain technology, there seems to be a lot of focus on, you know, how many millions or trillions of dollars are locked into the system and things like that. But if you look at like one of the sort of by far the largest ecosystem in the blockchain verse, which is Ethereum, at its peak, Ethereum did 1.5 million transactions in a day, right? And I think Visa or MasterCard probably do that in like maybe like half an hour or something. So we're far away from mass adoption, and the only way to solve that problem is to really not just like, you know, like to make things fast and cheap, but also to put that education in place, you know. And this is such an important point, which, you know, which Umbria has brought forward as well, to just really make it simple for users. So I saw the Albagochi team do something similar, where they came up with this very interesting, the Old Farmer's Almanac series of, you know, sort of articles on Medium, you know, where they explain several concepts, you know, how things work, how they are. And I just feel that, you know, when you make like gamify this kind of sort of this experience of learning, right, instead of having somebody, you know, go through a Wikipedia article or something, just gamify that experience a bit. I think we're going to see a lot more mainstream adoption. Already, there's so much interest with, you know, people with companies like Tesla and mainstream banks, you know, sort of taking cryptocurrency seriously. And I just feel that, you know, if you can just make it easy and friendly for users, you know, who are not blockchain native, I think we're going to see a massive amount of adoption in 2021. So it's a big focus area for us as well, and we are trying to solve that with great documentation, not just for developers, but for the average user as well.
That's a very important point. So anyway, just to wrap it up, for everybody that is not familiar with Umbria, do you maybe, Oscar or Barney, do you want to say where people can find you, where they can ask questions, where, you know, the gateway to get into the project? I think that, you know, where can I find Umbria?
Sure, our website is umbria.network, and we have links to all of our social media, as well as some information about our project on our website. So if you want to learn a bit more about Umbria, just go to umbria.network and you'll find all of our resources there, all of our social media, all of our community stuff as well. So if you go to that website, and you can come to the Discord and you can chat to us directly about the Umbria project. We're happy to answer any questions about that. We're very active on the Discord as well, so you'll find us there most of the time.
We'll also be available on Reddit if you want to ask any technical questions or general questions about the protocol, and as well as Telegram. And you can always send us a message on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Okay, fantastic. And I look forward for the airdrop as well. And Arjun, listen, I think most of the people will know Matic, but as well, if
no, definitely. I mean, you know, of course,
people can find you.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you'd like to know more, now that we've rebranded as well, and if you'd like to learn about our expanded mission, please check us out on polygon.technology. You can also follow us on Twitter on @0xpolygon, and you'll be able to read more about us. We put out tweets regularly about our ecosystem, about what we're doing, our thoughts, on the blockchain, blockchain verse, as one might say. So just and of course we're on Telegram as well and Discord as well. So I encourage you guys to sort of look us up, and join our mission, and to make blockchain easy, and sort of make it easy for sort of next users to sort of onboard and experience the Web3 universe. So, yeah.
Yeah, on that note, thank you so much. I think it was it was a great chat, and I like the fact that you both on the same journey to bring the concept of blockchain and DeFi and crypto out there in an easy way that is gonna lead to a much wider adoption. Because as you both said, we just get noticed. Finally, the media is taking notice of Bitcoin, but
Yes.
there is so much beyond that.
So much out there.
Biggest opportunity to empower people and to change the world that is important to help also people to come on the journey as well. Okay.
Definitely, and thank you for having us and putting this together as well.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steffy. See ya.
This is everything from the Financial Fox today. I really hope that you enjoyed the episode. Please subscribe to our channel and keep sharing the love, because we all love you. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you next time.